Aaron, understanding it's a long season and there are ups and downs throughout the course of a season, but is there any sigh of relief just getting back in the win column today?
Yeah, it's great to win. Really, there's no like panic or anything in that room. Like, we understand we go through it. It's been an adverse week for us, a week in which we're pitching really well, doing a lot of things well. We've made some mistakes along the way, broke out a little bit more here these last couple of days, but definitely good to salvage one and shake hands at the end and, hopefully get it going.
What did you see in the approaches today that allowed that offense to break out the way they did?
I don't know, a little more patience. Obviously, you got to be patient with Anderson, who's going to, kind of try and destroy your timing and mess with you. I thought we were a little better in that regard last night too. Like, so carrying that in, still didn't completely break through, and had a chance to really have a big day. But to hit a couple balls out of the ballpark, pressure them a little bit more. More guys up and down, being in on the act. It was good.
Dave.
Aaron, the other day when we asked you about the team pressing, in that conversation you mentioned you didn't think Trent Grisham was capable of pressing. What did you mean by that?
You ever seen him go get a fly ball or
Yeah.
Hit a homer and flip his bat and catch the barrel? He doesn't know press, and I really didn't think that was the case last night. The one night I thought I felt that a little bit was the second game of that Angel series. Just where I felt like guys were feeling a little bit. And that's the only time through this week, where we haven't put runs on the board. Otherwise, I feel like it's been business as usual.
But just with Grisham coming through there in the 9 spot, too, with the home run early, after they hit a couple home runs, too. So speaking of that sigh of relief, it's early, but it still gives you a chance to get back on top. And
yeah, no question. And I get asked a lot about Grish, and, after, being over 1,000 OPS, setting the world on fire, and not getting some results. Like, I still look at his at bats, and he's been pretty consistent at bat wise. Just controlling the strike zone, not getting a ton of results, but I feel like he's been close there throughout the last few weeks. So for him to break through with the power today, and then add another one, by setting the table with the double there to get us an insurance run. Really productive there at the bottom today.
Eric.
What did you see from Rodon today?
I thought his secondary stuff was good, not his best fastball today. I didn't think like that, his stuff was overwhelming like you see it some days. I thought he pitched well with the changeup, even though he gave up one of the home runs was on a changeup. I thought the slider was really good for him today. So I thought he managed the game well on a day when maybe he didn't have his best stuff. Stayed away from the damage with guys on and limited guys being on. The few they got were obviously solo shots, and, fortunately that didn't hurt us today.
And what was your view of Adele's check swing in the 4th inning?
They're not perfect.
Peter, to the left.
Just going back to Rodon, just what was the importance of him kind of shutting things down, I guess, for those 4 innings after he took the lead there in the second?
Yeah, it was good. And in all seriousness, going back to that Adele where you think you got to punch out, and, I thought he navigated that well too. Like, didn't let it bother him, didn't let it fester, just, went out and got the next 2 guys out and calmed things down. So that was important too.
Clapp and Meredith.
Aaron, I realize this is an isolated moment in the game, but what did you think of Judge's last at bat?
Double?
Yeah, because I thought it was a really good at bat.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job. With, obviously it's like, when are you going to get the heater? He's feeding him a lot of splits there. I thought both him and G had really good patient at bats against him, where Neris is trying to get him to chase there. So. I thought Anderson did a good job with that too. So both Anderson and Neris, that kind of back and forth, they try and sneak the fastball on you, but they're, bread and butter to him, or you're going to be that changeup with Anderson and then the split with Neris. So I thought he did a good job of not expanding, getting deeper, and then finally getting a pitch he could really handle.
Aaron, you mentioned that check swing, but it seemed like there were a couple head scratching moments today. Were you surprised that the Bellinger call early did not get overturned?
Incredibly surprised.
How frustrating is that, especially when you guys are kind of grinding to get something going over the last couple of days and to have that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it is, but you got to move on. There's, as much as I get mad at calls and, that one justifiably, you got to move on. There are things that went our way today as well. So it was early in the game. Got to put it behind us, and I thought the guys did a good job of obviously running out to a lead and then being able to tack on late. So yeah, it was a little bit of a head scratcher.
Randy.
My screensaver now.
What happened when Volpe was out of third there? Was there a double steal on, or was Wells picked off there? And is that an area that the base running you still think you need to clean up a little bit? I know for most of the year it's been pretty good.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, no, it's 3-2, 2 outs, so we're going, right? So it's not a steal situation. It's go. Can't get picked off there. You gotta, be a little more deliberate. We've had a couple in this stretch, which will make a lot of noise, and understand that overall we have done a good job this year with that, but that's one right there. Can't have that one happen.
You still think that you guys are a pretty good base running team, though, based on your total package?
I do.
Anyone else? Thank you, Aaron.